Okay, we've proved, I guess, 60 photos of my hair, probably, to record this. It was looking really cool, but I'm afraid we now have missiles pointed at us. So we'll just not give them a light for this house. How's that? Alright. This is a story for all of you. So if all of you are not here, then this would be a go ahead time to go and get your siblings, please, in a nice way. That's even more important. Okay? So run and get them. I'll be here. I have to see everyone's face. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have to see everybody's face. You would need to get behind me to do that, and you can't do that. So one at a time, let's do it. Comes here. Move this back around. I've seen everybody. Yeah, it's a miracle. I saw you. Ooh. It's because I'm with you all every day. Okay. Here is the story of your mom and dad's relationship. I was 17 when I met him, and you already know that I switched from his class into the other class so that I could be with the professor of this biology lab. I did that because I was afraid I was going to miss something from your dad. But actually, he was really well prepared, and the doctor really wasn't. So then I switched to the third lab because I continued not to like either of the other professors. So and I sort of wanted to date your dad, so I couldn't very well be in his class and date him. That wouldn't work out. So I stayed after class one day and asked him if he would help me. And he said he was, but he had another class to go to. And I said, well, I've got to go to the art room because they want me to look at doing some videos. And so I went to do that, and your dad went to do his class. And then we met on the steps of the 99. I was at the bottom and he was at the top. So I backed out and said, "Just wait there." He goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "Trust me, just wait there." And I went around and drove up the hill and around to meet him at the top of the 99 steps, which he thought was awesome, that a girl would think about doing that. So then we went on out, and I said, "I have to go get ice cream and stuff for my mom's party later." And he said, "Oh, what kind of party?" I said, "A bunch of old ladies who get around and play, get around a table and play rook." He's like, "I love that game." I said, "I do too." I said, "But I don't think we can play." So he said, "Yes, two can play." I said, "I've always thought it was a 4-player game." But no, it turns out there are directions for a 2-player game. So, because your dad knew the name, or the this name of the game, and he knew the game better than I did. So, okay. Then from then on, we were dating. And we dated for 2.5, almost 3 years. And he was moving to Lexington to work at St. Joe's. He got offered a job there as a med tech. That's the degree he chose to pursue. So he said to me, he took me down to Jenny Wiley and told me basically, "I won't be able to see you for 7 to 9 weeks. I didn't get a phone because I can't afford to get it hooked up. And I have a cell, but I can't run that much up on my cell if I want to be able to pay for more marks on my utility needs." So basically, let's run this down. Well, with the lighting not so dark, there we go. I said, so basically what you're telling me is just sort of, kiss off for, a month or 2, and you'll be back. Well, not kiss off, but I won't be able to visit. So, and I'm not good to write, you know how I am. and how I feel about that. So I said, okay, well, okay. So that's what he did. So I met up at the dorms to help him get his stuff out. And, you know, he said he'd be over to take me out, you know, the next week before they moved him to Lexington, because he had to start the week after that. So I did that, and then we had the whole speech. And he left for Lexington. Well, my mom said, you should dump him, because he doesn't care anything about you, or he wouldn't go that long without seeing you. Which seemed like a valid opinion, at least to me. So we broke up eventually when one of his friends, so-called friends, Jim, started saying things about how Randy was dating other girls in Lexington, and that he had gone out with my nemesis, which was my best friend's friend, Chrissy. Yeah. So I got that piece of information and thought, I have been an idiot. And when at 3 weeks he came home to visit and came to my house first, I basically told him he could leave. That I'd already heard that he'd been dating, and that I already knew that he'd been dating and in Lexington, and that if he didn't have any more respect for me than that, then he could just go on. And he said, I came home just to see you. And I said, well, with all the other information, that just really doesn't cut it. And he said, who gave you this information? And I said, I'm not telling them. I'm not telling. But it was your friends. It was some of your friends. So if it's not true, you should probably look at your friends list and go over it and try to figure out who it is. Any rate, it doesn't change what I have to say. So, you can go. And then he said, are you lying? Has it been her and he poked his finger toward my mom. And I said, no, it had nothing to do with her. It was your friends. That's what I know. That's how I know. Is it was your friends. So I suggest you get looking pretty quick. And he did. He did investigate the friends, but not before asking me to go with him. And I said, what are we going to do? Go down and live in an apartment that you can't afford? And I said, no, I don't guess you would. And he said, well, I deserve a better explanation than that after 3 years. And I said, so did I, on that bridge there at, when you took me to, Jenny Wiley. So I kicked him off my porch, told him to leave. He left. He went over to the college, and he called back, and he's crying, and said, I deserve a better explanation than that. I said, what more do you need? Your friends provided me with the information. That's your friends that you need an explanation from, not mine or me. And I hung up. So then he came to a ball game about a month later, or a month and a half later, totally dissed me in front of people at the game by not speaking to me at all, but talking about me instead. So I got up at that game and said, I tried. No answer. So I got up and left. I wasn't about to sit through that game and have him just continue to talk about me or, diss me again by turning away when I was trying to speak to him. So we broke up for sure. But it was horrible because I had really seen my future with him. And when 3 years is down the drain, you don't just give up typically. So then fast forward to a ball game in 2001. No, that's because we got married in 95. So the game would have been in 94, I guess. Right before, it was in January. Right before tournament time. And he had sat with the very people who had given me the information, which I thought was just hilarious. But when he came over and motioned for me, I walked over because I needed some closure for my role in this game. I was old enough to where I was finished playing games. I don't want to play games anymore. So I went over. And when I got over there, I was reminded of our good times. The times that we had shared and those things. And so I asked him, I said, I feel like I need to hug you. Would that be okay? And he said, of course. And so I gave him a hug. And in giving him a hug, that's when Jim began to drive him out of the ball game. So, and he kept saying, no, no, just go on. I can get a ride. You know, which I thought was odd because I had assumed that he had spoken to Daryl about it. I mean, to Jim about it. But apparently not. Apparently he hadn't spoken to him. So I now see Jim for who he is. He had continued to be a friend to him even when he had informed me about this, about his actions. So the next time we saw each other, he had asked me to lunch. And as we talked, we saw really how we both got played. We worked it out. Talked it out. And he asked me if I would meet him, if I would go out with him on, I think it was Saturday night. He was coming home from Moorhead.